Today, we begin our final stretch from Reno, Nevada to Torrance, California, where a helicopter will undergo its 4,400-hour overhaul lasting nearly a year. In the past 3 weeks, we've flown coast to coast. We landed at the world's busiest airport, covered vast stretches across the Midwest and Southwest, and experienced some of the most remarkable off-airport landings we've ever done. Now, we embark on our last scenic flight southbound, traveling east of the Sierra Mountain Range towards California.
You can smell it outside.
Yeah, what does it smell like?
Like fresh water. Oh my god, this is so pretty.
I've never seen anything like this before. Like this part of the country, I had no idea it looked like this. There's like literally snow-capped peaks and meandering streams through these just lush green pastures. It's insane.
Yeah, this has to be one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Mammoth Yosemite traffic helicopter, November 300 Whiskey Zulu, 10 to the north, southbound transition at 8,700 Mammoth Yosemite.
Bishop Airport, automated weather observation.
I don't see how Bishop is 21 degrees and it's 11 here.
Yeah, that's crazy. Maybe because it's in the valley.
At 06.
Like in bright sunshine.
Visibility 10.
Man, this is crazy.
Sky condition few 10.
There's your 20 degrees.
Yeah, it's 18 degrees already. Wow, just that drop in altitude.
Yeah, we went from 8,000 feet to 5,000.
Yeah. Bishop traffic helicopter, November 300 Whiskey Zulu is 10 miles to the west. Inbound, we're going to be shooting an approach direct to Taxiway Hotel and then air taxiing to the pumps. Bishop.
Well, today we start our final journey down to Torrance from Reno. It's pretty surreal to be pretty much ending the trip. We still have a couple hours to fly, 2 more stops today, and then we might do a little adventure when we get to California. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that we've literally flown from the east coast of the US all the way to California, up the coast of California, over the mountains into Reno, and now we're going down a valley east of the Sierra Mountains to Torrance, California, where the helicopter will go in for its 4,400 flight hour overhaul. Whew, it's been a ride for sure. I've had a lot of mixed emotions going through this trip. There's been highs and lows. Coming up to Reno for me was like a little bit anxiety inducing just because of the weather and the bumps, and then we went underneath the bridge, and then we went over the mountains, and there was a lot of like turbulence up there. But then there's flights like today where it's early in the morning, it's calm weather, the scenery is beautiful, and you forget about all of those things. And the days like today really make you appreciate what we're doing. You forget about your anxiety and all that, and yeah, you're just happy to be here, flying, drinking coffee, listening to good music, and just kind of flying through a part of the country we may never ever get to visit again. So kind of sad to see the trip coming to an end, and sad to say goodbye to the helicopter. At the same time, I am looking forward to being done and going home. It has been a taxing trip mentally and physically, but it's also been really rewarding and really enjoyable. And I'm really thankful and grateful to have this opportunity to experience this trip across the country.
Mojave Air and Spaceport, automated weather observation 1737 Zulu. Wind variable at 3 knots.
Mojave Air and Spaceport. Oh boy.
As the mountains turned into desert, the temperature began to rise, and we knew we were making progress towards Torrance.
Those look like a lot of big planes up there.
I think it's a
Graveyard, that's pretty
yeah. Cool, huh?
Yeah, very cool.
Unexpectedly, we finally got to see our airplane graveyard.
Wow. Whoa, like jumbo jets with like panels missing off them.
Wow.
Airplane graveyard, finally seen one.
There you go. Mojave traffic helicopter, November 300 Whiskey Zulu is crossing midfield, low level, direct for the ramp at the restaurant, Mojave.
I'm a predictable person. I prefer to have the same breakfast most of the time. It's eggs, some kind of meat, and hash browns and toast.
Not like me. Today we got French toast.
Serra Whiskey Zulu, radar contact a mile northwest of the 5170 interchange. Say altitude and request.
We're at 1,900, requesting southbound transition via the 5.
Serra Whiskey Zulu, approved as requested. Thank you.
Santa Monica Tower, helicopter, November 300, Whiskey Zulu with Juliet.
November 300, Whiskey Zulu, Santa Monica Tower.
What is this? This is a plane with like a thing on it.
You'll see one banner tail opposite direction about 5 miles ahead.
I'm with the banner, 0 Whiskey Zulu.
0 Whiskey Zulu, what is your type aircraft?
We're an R-44.
The noise abatement here is pretty strict, but you're going to cross midfield at or above 900 feet, and then a descending right turn around the tower over the airport property, and you're going to land on runway 21, and then once you're at Beam Atlantic, you'll offset into the ramp.
Roger that. Around the tower, at least 900, and we'll basically do a right traffic pattern for 210 Whiskey Zulu. And 300 Whiskey with Atlantic, just exiting the runway.
November 0 Whiskey Zulu, yep, and that's a perfect textbook arrival there for the city and the noise abatement.
Appreciate that, 0 Whiskey Zulu.
Good job coming in.
Oh, thank you. He gave us good instructions.
We did it in one day, Peckham. Oh, missed. She missed. I really enjoyed that flight. The end was bumpy, but the beginning was just some of the most scenic terrain I've ever flown over. So he said, do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. I've never called for a reservation before. He's like, oh yeah, we don't allow helicopters to stay overnight.
Whoa, weird.
And then he said, unless they land on the pad. I'm like, oh, okay. Where's the helipad? I can reposition to it. He's like, we gotta go get it. Can you land on that? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Never done that before. Some of the off-airport landings we've done, pretty sure we can handle a flat square. Boom!
Boom!
I don't think the trip's done. Really, the only thing left to do is get this thing from here to Torrance, California by the end of the week. Drop it off to Robinson. And then we say goodbye to it.
But first,
you guys gotta do the fucking apple pie thing. If you're gonna be out in this area, these pies are delicious. Look at it, I've got it on the map.
300 Whiskey Zulu just running up that Atlantic, requesting a straight out departure for the coastline, southbound departure VFR.
we couldn't do the fucking apple pie thing with 2 empty seats in the back.
This is fun.
So we picked up our friends Jenna and Jace and flew to Torrance to meet up with our buddy Naomi.
Okay, we landed in Torrance, and it was a little bit of a marginal ceiling, and we were meeting up with a buddy of mine, Naomi.
Hello.
She flies an R66. She basically has what my dream helicopter would be. Blacked out R66 with floats.
So these are floats for emergency only, so we don't have them blown up all the time, but if we were to have an engine failure and we were out over the water of the ocean, then we would pop our floats. I've been flying for about 5.5 years. I got my license in the 44. Okay. And I did my checkout about 145 hours until I was comfortable because I have 3 kids. And then I've always worked with Ryan, who is Cascade, if you're into electronic music. The kids started getting older, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go fulfill my dreams now. Your thing's going good. And he was like super supportive and was like, yeah, go do it. So that's what I did.
Are you doing fire management now?
So in the summer, I work for a private company called Blue Sky Helicopters. There's 4 Blackhawks, and I'll go in and fill in for those guys when they have their 2 days off.
That's
which is
so
awesome.
sick. That's so
it's
sick.
awesome, yeah, and I love it. So this will be my 3rd season. Those buckets can hold up to 8,000 pounds. It's pretty amazing.
Today we're going to be going to a place called Julian Pie Company. It's about probably, like an hour away. And also a buddy of mine, Micah, he has a channel on YouTube actually. We'll link down in the description box. If we can get down there, we're going to meet him at another small airport. And so we'll be flying in, essentially kind of like formation or a flight of 3. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So marginal ceilings here until our destination, meaning that the cloud layer is low, but it's still okay to fly in. Visibility is fine, meaning it's not hazy or anything like that. The ceilings are too low at our destination at this point. We gotta hop over some mountains. We probably won't be able to do that, so we're gonna wait out some weather here. We're in touch with Micah. We're letting him know our plans. It's forecasted to lift in the next hour or so. We'll just sit tight. You know, this is like classic general aviation. You know, you wanna go somewhere fast, don't fly yourself. It's a lot of it's for the love of flying.
We're gonna attempt to go. The ceiling is lifting, I think, a little bit. And so Jenna and Jace are gone with her. So we're basically gonna follow her out. She's gonna be the main helicopter in our party 2. We're gonna try to get to Pi.
Party 2 is terrifying.
She's so much faster. All right, so we're coming into Oceanside, California. We're going to divert. We were going to be...
Traffic, helicopter 5 Mike Romeo, and flight entering left downwind for 25 to the heli ramp, Oceanside.
So we're going to land here at Oceanside. We're going to regroup wait some weather out. The ceiling is kind of junky.
Side traffic, helicopter 5 Mike Romeo and flight, turning left base for 25 to the heli ramp, Oceanside.
Well, we've landed here at Oceanside. I don't know if you can see this behind me, but there's a lot of low ceiling and dark clouds kind of preventing us from moving forward on our expedition today to get to the pie company. So we're gonna hang out here at Oceanside. This is kind of the realities of flying that maybe we don't always think of when we think of, you know, helicopter travels.
Naomi's gotta get some Jet A because she takes jet fuel because her helicopter has a turbine engine, whereas our helicopter has a piston engine, so we take 100 low lead, it's called.
How's it going, buddy?
She's so cool.
She's so cool.
Great pilot, good experience.
Yeah, let's go. Becky's like, I think I'm done flying helicopters for a while.
Well, to be fair, you flew across the country. It's far.
I'll usually detail my own helicopter unless it's getting maintenance.
We're terrible.
I like it.
We never clean ours.
Yo! Bring it in, man.
In person.
You're taller than I expected.
Hi, Evie.
Nice to
Micah, alongside his wife Evie and their daughter, make family-friendly helicopter videos and car reviews on YouTube.
I've got complaints. The latch points aren't covered.
They also fly a 2007 model Robinson R44 Raven II, but in red, and have a similar arrangement as us. Micah is the pilot, and Evie makes the videos.
This has just been a super fun trip because both Micah and Naomi I've known on the internet for ages, but never met them in person. So it's pretty fun today to be able to meet both of them face to face and actually go flying together, because I never thought I'd ever fly with Micah or Naomi. It's like, when am I ever going to be on the West Coast with a helicopter? But here we are, making it happen, and they've never met each other before, so it's kind of this like hodgepodge group of helicopter pilots. Like the one weird thread is just me kind of knowing them on the internet. That's always the neat thing about general aviation.
Oceanside traffic, helicopter 705 Mike Romeo, flight of 3. Going to be taking off 25 from the ramp and doing a left downwind, Oceanside.
Cool.
And Oceanside traffic, helicopter 705 Mike Romeo, flight of 3, headed east-southeast bound, low level, Oceanside.
I love the 66. She fired up. I looked up and I didn't even notice that the blades were moving because it was so smooth. And we were going over the mountains, and even like the bumps was just like not as bad at all.
Well, truth be told, she's lighter than
Like
me.
maybe it's my flying.
Oh!
I think it could be your flying, yeah.
Damn. She does have more hours. She does have more hours. It's pie time.
We made it to pie time.
After 7 hours of short flights and long waits, we finally made it to Pie.
All right, who's gonna walk in first so we can get the shot?
Get it, girl.
That's some killer B-roll. Also, that's where the bathroom is.
And it was a little emotional knowing that this is one of our last helicopter adventures for a while. It smells like cinnamon and warm pie.
This one is the best one, but it's out. But if you just want a slice, they have 2 slices.
Apple Mountain Berry Crumb.
Yeah, boysenberry. What's boysenberry?
Right back. What do you think?
It's warm. I got apple pie.
Describe it to me.
It's hot and very hot and appley and crusty and hot. It's very good.
I finished my pie and I forgot to film it because it was so good.
This is the best pie I've ever had in my entire life. I was not expecting it to be warm. When my taste buds touched that warm, sweet little delightful taste, I almost cried. I'm happy.
We were feeling really lucky to be able to get to share this experience with our friends. Everybody's door latched?
Latched.
Yep. Latched, great. Bye, friends.
Micah, we're heading northwestbound. I don't have eyes on you.
We're behind you to the right. We'll stay back here for a second.
Okay, I'm behind both of you.
All right, we got you. See you, Micah.
Good hanging, guys.
Bye. Bye. Let me know if I need to slow down.
We said our goodbyes and we flew back towards Torrance with Naomi. A short 1-hour flight to Pie turned into a full-day adventure as we waited for weather to move in our favor. Classic general aviation. But it was really fun flying with other aviation friends and sharing that passion with Jenna and Jace and having them experience firsthand what it's like to do trips like this.
All right, thanks again. Nice seeing you.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye. All right, another great little adventure for the books. It's definitely a little bit later than we were expecting because we had to wait out some weather, but that's how this thing goes.
So I think that's probably the last adventure, other than flying this thing from Santa Monica into Torrance, to give her back to Robinson Helicopter Factory so that they can do an overhaul, rebuild the whole thing. Yeah, Let's end to a chapter. The main purpose of this trip is to have the helicopter overhauled, which basically means any of the fatigue limited or life limited parts on the helicopter just get replaced. So anything that's moving is getting replaced. New main rotor blades, new tail rotor blades, new tail cone, that's a 4,400 hour item. We're gonna get the whole engine overhauled. Basically, there's a whole list of items that get replaced. In addition to that though, I want to add a couple upgrades. First and foremost, we wanna get air conditioning. This trip has been almost hellish at times because it was so hot. Temperatures up to 40 degrees Celsius, which is very, very hot. So getting air conditioning is going to be key in the next phase of this helicopter. There's a couple of the little things, we want to get Becky's door fixed. So all those things will be, repaired. And this should be, theoretically, when it leaves the assembly line, it's going to look and feel like a brand new helicopter. Paint job is still yet to be determined. We don't know what we're going to do. I know the matte black is very signature. Robinson doesn't do custom paint jobs, and while they do offer, I think, one color in a matte finish, it's not black. Haven't really decided yet. Maybe we'll talk to them in the next couple days, see what they recommend, given we know we probably want to go back to the matte black. Other potential upgrades that we might cut, I decide is too expensive. Impact resistant windscreen, so it has a different composite material that's, impact resistant, as the name would suggest. We do have visors on our helmets. That's why we wear the visors. If you get into a bird strike with a large bird, those birds are coming at you with fairly sharp beaks at 115 miles per hour. I have friends who have had bird strikes where the bird, literally a large bird, goes through the windscreen and it just makes a complete mess. If that impairs your visibility and you can't see, then you can't fly. So it's one of those things where we'll look at the cost and see what the cost-benefit analysis is. That might be one thing we might get.
It's here to pick us up.
Look at this vehicle here.
You guys need a ride? What's up?
Yes, please. I also need to put my blade tie-downs on.
Let's do it.
This helicopter is coming to the end of its life. And we knew this when we bought it. So we bought it in 2018, just shy of 5 calendar years on it, and it was gonna get us to mid-June. It's so funny because you think about 5 years, that's so much time. This is never gonna creep up on us. And sure enough, here we are, literally across the country after we just completed this amazing cross-country trip, a once-in-a-lifetime trip, really. I just never thought I'd see this day when we bought this thing back in Texas, back in 2018. There's so many places this thing has taken us, from the coasts of Newfoundland to adventures all through Canada, more regional to Buffalo, to New York City. And on this amazing cross-country trip, seeing parts of America we otherwise never would have seen. That was cool. I'm glad we could end it off the way we did. Yeah, this has been fun. All right, so we flew the helicopter in last night, knowing that there's going to be a marine layer and some haze this morning. I guess from a metaphorical standpoint, we'll do a final flight from the transient helicopter parking all the way over to the Robinson helicopter factory, which is really only probably 100 feet. But that'll be our symbolic last flight. I have 50 pounds of maintenance records here. This is excessive. The Millennial Falcon successfully flew across the entire country at its end of life. We didn't have any unexpected maintenance issues, thank goodness. We didn't get stranded anywhere.
I kind of can't believe it's over with. It was the most flying that we've kind of ever really done in a consecutive period.
At the end of the trip, Becky says, hey, didn't you want to do a downtown LA flight? I never thought I'd see the day, and I don't think Becky ever thought she'd see the day that I said, nah, I think I'm good. I was in a position that I never had really found myself in, where it's too much of a good thing is too much, if that makes sense. I logged 59.2 hours, I think, for the full trip. The weeks leading up to the trip, I flew another 40 hours. So I think I did over 100 hours in 11 weeks, which is the most flying I have ever done. As a private pilot, I'll be lucky if I hit 100 hours per year. And I did that in 11 weeks.
Going into this trip, I felt really good mentally. I felt really confident that I could do this trip with no issues. You're doing 3 to 5 or 6 long, heavy travel days in a row with lack of sleep, lack of meals, heat, toss on top of that turbulence, new experiences. And then you're just bombarded with all of these feelings and emotions. Suddenly, everything kind of comes tumbling down. That kind of happened mid-trip, wasn't expecting that to happen.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most challenging trips we've done. Some of the most memorable moments for this trip for me were probably transitioning into every new phase. It was almost like it kind of signified, hey, you're making progress in this trip and this is the next phase.
There are 2 that really stand out to me. One was flying over the Atlanta airport, the busiest airport in the world. You know, I'm not as into aviation as Chris is, right? But that experience was so unique and exciting, seeing all these huge planes. And not only that, but hearing Chris nailing it on the radio. I'm actually gonna cry. Yeah.
For me as a helicopter pilot flying into the busiest airport in the world, I thought it was objectively a cool thing to be able to say that I've done.
The dunes, I think, was like a bucket list item that I didn't know I had.
I think the sand dunes was probably the pinnacle for me. I've never flown in anything so crazy.
That was an experience I'll probably likely never have again in my life.
All the people we saw and met along the way obviously was a highlight. Seeing people who I don't get to see often, or sometimes who I've never seen in person.
You put yourself sometimes in uncomfortable situations because your partner is so passionate about it. But it is emotional to look back on it, to think about all the things that we did to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. Sometimes I forget that, like, he's also going through this and this is his experience as well. But at the end of the day, it's really special to be able to experience something like this together.
Hold on to the safe for me.
We are at Zamperini Airfield's Kilo Tango Oscar Alpha, and this is the final destination of our trip. Now, this airport has 2 runways. For helicopters, it's only full service fuel. We've got a full helicopter factory on premises. Here at Robinson, they basically turn all of these raw materials into helicopters. That's crazy. This is the last airport tour for a while. All right, let's go. I just did my last flight and we have, drum roll please, 69 hours left on the airframe.
We've traveled the entire route through the general aviation side, and now we hop on a commercial plane and head back to Buffalo.
Our LA to Boston flight is delayed by 3 hours.
And we're gonna miss our connection. Always an interesting experience traveling.
If there's anything that general aviation has taught us, is that delays are inevitable. No one's trying to do it just to wrong you or spite you. It's probably because either there's a maintenance issue, there's weather issues, things that are outside an airline's controls. I'm ready to be home. This has been a long 3 weeks.
Well, this trip turned into a road trip. Driving back from Boston.
I was really looking forward to getting home, but now we have another 6 hours of driving in the car. That's aviation for you. It's something we're kind of used to rolling with. It still sucks. It always does suck when it doesn't work out. 6 hours, 15 minutes. Let's do this. It's like training for our next series, honey. Long drive days. You know what our next series is going to be?
It's raining, we don't have screws that are long enough, and we're not actually going to get to do a trial run of our setup before we leave.
In fact, if you don't pick me up a pie, I'll be very disappointed.
I think I will. What am I gonna? I'm going to mail it to you?
No, you're gonna fly back to Phoenix and drop it off.
What? Oh my god! Magic carpet!
No way! I am not full at all. I need to go home. I don't.
The audacity to fly a plane by while I'm filming.
Because we need a 66.
I knew it. I knew she was gonna say
You guys deserve the 66. I will say though, for a 44, that's a very cool 44.
Well,
Especially when you look at the belly of it.
Oh, appreciate it.
Best belly in the business.
Ooh, looking at my underside.
Probing questions. Looking at that soft underbelly. This is an exotic episode.
Behold, a helicopter factory. Ooh, such a crisp trigger pull.
Bye.
Hi. Maddie, you want to go to Buffalo? Yeah. You want to go to Buffalo?